All right, true believers, we are back with issue 3 of Trial of Magneto. And of course, we've assembled our little Trial of Magneto posse here. Our first guest being Askani'son.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm picking up a psychic disturbance. This issue is just so all over the place. I can't decipher it.
Oh my god, are you gonna faint?
I may need Emma's help.
Audible gasp. I forgot about that line. Folks at home, Askani'son is dressed up as Marvel Girl with his dishwashing gloves.
I had to have something, so these were like the last ones. It was either this or a blue pair, and I'm like, okay, yellow.
Just proud of you for doing dishes.
You did.
I just got done.
You just got done doing dishes.
I just got done doing the dishes and saving the world. So
there we go. But you did this today. You literally did this today.
I did, like a couple hours ago. I just went to Walgreens, got a big yellow poster board, cut it out. It's a little haggard right now. I just got done battling a bunch of these kaiju monsters, but
Right.
I don't even know where to begin with the kaiju. But the other voice on the podcast is, of course, Femme, aka Petra.
Yay! Woo!
Petra, you're getting ready for your own Hellfire Gala tomorrow night, and you were showing us your rogue costume, and it looks immaculate.
The jacket looks amazing. She just tried that on for us, so top notch.
Thank you. Well, with all this psychic interference going on, I better arm myself. Take that.
And I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the truth from your mind. Emma, where are you at?
Darling, I'm right here. Sorry, darling, I'm sleeping with your husband.
I haven't even there hasn't even been grass on my grave grown yet.
Until you had the audacity to come back to life again. Guys, I wish we were meeting under better circumstances, because we started reviewing Trial of Magneto because we think Leah Williams is a phenomenal writer. Yes. We love Wanda. We know there's supposed to be a big story with Wanda happening, and issue 3 was kind of, how would we describe this issue?
Who starts? Me. Okay, the one who asks. I'm gonna start with the two things that were not in this issue. The first one being Magneto.
Yes.
Because I looked, and Magneto is featured on exactly one page and a couple of spare panels kind of in the background. And the one page he's on, full spread, he's getting beat up again. Which I was joking about last episode. Was like, oh, is he just going to get beat up every episode? Apparently he is. So that's happening. The other thing that's not in this issue is a trial. Because
no trial.
Nope. And North Star makes like a valiant effort, like, to remind Magneto and the readers that, like, yeah, we still got beef. This isn't over. And I have to shake out my best little Thor. Maybe be like, is it though? Like, sorry, spoiler free. It's like 2 pages after that sentence is uttered. It's pretty clear there's not going to be a trial anytime soon. So, I mean, all right, here we are.
This is issue 3. Issue 3.
Yeah, it just seems like the story kind of got stuck in the mud a little bit, and no one knows how to get out of it. It's, oh,
that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, I just, I was reading it, and I'm just thinking it was just kind of going in different directions here. A lot of the characters really were not sounding like themselves, and yeah, it's like Petra just said, Magneto, where is he at? He was just in one page, and it's like the Trial of Magneto. Where is it? Maybe
the characters sounded more like they had to service the plot instead of themselves. Like they had to get everything from A, B, and C. And I didn't really feel a fluidity with the words, with the conversations, and even the scenes just felt very stiff. To go back to that North Star scene, that was probably my favorite scene where he's here like, don't you fucking touch my husband again. And I don't know why. I think I wasn't as crazy about the setup for that fight last issue, but this issue, I'm like, you know what? Good for North Star saying that right there to good old Magnus.
But is it in character for him? He seems to be like the voice of reason among many things. And he's like, Quicksilver I can excuse because he's grieving and he's just pissed. But North Star, I expected a little bit more. This is a situation where I would have expected North Star to do the old like collar grab, like don't you ever, but the fact that he just goes from 0 to bar brawl is it was a little jarring for me. And yeah, no, I get it. He did bad things and like put your husband in danger there for a minute, but that was a little extreme for me for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they had to kind of shoehorn another Magneto attack in there, attack on him, Magneto, and then done. Okay.
So
to kind of remind us that Magneto is still there.
Magneto is still there.
Hey, look.
So why don't we start at the beginning where I guess we'll call her younger model Wanda, like sort of appears, has no memory of what's happened in her life since like forever. I mean, so this is like pre-Vision and Wanda even getting married. Did I read that correctly? Yeah, because she's your like wife. What?
I mean, we can definitely call her
my wife.
Yeah, then she's like, wife. I mean, this is definitely Wanda, the teenage witch, right here.
Some would say with a capital B.
Ooh.
Not us, so because I love
no.
We love our Wanda here.
We do.
But yeah, I thought the first thing that came to my mind was really this is like first of all, I don't even know where to begin. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered here. First of all, why wouldn't someone just be like, who resurrected Wanda with an old backup? Right? Why isn't that the first logical question? Then the next thing, they're like, oh, this is like a old backup. Charles said that they had a backup of Wanda. But I'm like, teenage Wanda? Really? Like up until
really
Access. They should have up until Access, in theory, backup of Wanda.
Yeah, it's you made a good point with nobody questioning who did this. I mean, the most they said was, especially with the conversation between Jean and Rachel, was, I thought, or Jean saying that Charles warned us that this was going to be an older version of her, but we don't know, like, when did that backup stop? And so it was just kind of a little jarring. She kind of just felt very, I don't know, Stepford wife type, just kind of robotic and
why? Huh?
Yeah,
like
it's
episode
just like
1 of WandaVision, like, oh no, what's happening?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. It's just it's very first episode Wanda. So
yeah, and like I don't want to jump too far ahead because I do want to talk about that Captain America North Star Kyle scene. But the scene where Rachel and Jean are like, let's give her greatest hits. Like, first of all, that was mean. That is
all bad shit.
Secondly, Jean, you were fucking dead during House of M. How can you give someone else their memories? I still don't. They did that with Teen Jean, where she read Beast during All New X-Men. So fine, whatever, comics. But I still don't understand the logic that Jean and Rachel, who were not present for a lot of Wanda's greatest hits, could even have those memories to give to her. And also, I think that was fucking awful. Like, hey, Femme, you have no memory of who you are. Here's everything bad you've done to us in the last, 20 years.
Because everybody knows what to do with an amnesiac is to hit him over the head with a hammer. Foolproof.
Right. Lizzie Borden style.
Boom. That'll do it. Oh yeah, here's all the shit you've ever done. Guess what? Everybody hates you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey Wanda, guess what? You remember when you decimated a bunch of mutants? No. Well, you do now.
And she's like, no. And then here come kaiju monsters.
Oh my god. And then literally the next interaction they have is basically telling her, now go stand in the corner and think about what you did. Bye, we're going. You stay here.
One thing that kind of interests me too was why they were giving her back those memories. There was that one panel where it was Wanda that after having resurrected the mutants of Genosha, and I'm surprised not one of them, Jean or Rachel, had questioned that. Like, wait a minute, what did she do here? And then kind of leave it hanging for maybe next issue or whatnot. It just kind of glossed over.
Where would they even get that memory? Because
right.
Where would they even get? There's no Wanda backup. This Wanda doesn't have that memory. No one here knows that she did that. So where did they even get that memory?
So this comes from my argument that, or my feeling that this issue was just very rushed and really no cohesiveness with plots and timelines.
Well, the art is very rushed.
It is, yes.
It's very rushed.
Although, did anyone else catch this? There's a couple scenes, couple panels where the artist, I can't remember the guy's name or the artist's name, but Wanda looks like Elizabeth Olsen. Jean does look like Femke.
Yeah,
yes, she does.
Yeah, that was David Messina and Lucas Warnick did the issues here.
Yeah,
yeah. Listen, I happen to think they're solid artists. I think Leah Williams is a solid writer. I am just profoundly confused by this issue. What this issue reads to me is that someone in editorial was like, nope, you need to start issue 3 all over again, and we're on a tight deadline, so redo everything.
It just seemed
aliens.
Yeah. They're pod people, literally.
Ooh.
No, it just
aliens, man.
Yeah, this issue, it just didn't seem like it knew where it was going. It was just kind of going wherever the wind blew them. So,
and I feel like
the
stakes were, I don't know, like so melodramatic for kaiju monsters attacking. Wasp is like, then we'll keep going until we make our last stand. And look at her face. She really does believe this. And I'm like, girl, they're just kaiju monsters. Relax.
Where's your fighting spirit? Everybody's like, oh, they don't die after 2 punches. Well, guess we're done then.
Yes, I don't get it either. Like, I don't know. You're the motherfucking Avengers and the motherfucking Krakoans and X-Men. Do something. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
No, that was just a face of her scared that one of the telepaths was going to bring up that memory of her telling Wanda, and you thought you had children.
Uh-oh.
Real culprit of House of M.
Askani'son, someone is sipping some hot tea tonight. Look at that. You give her a Marvel Girl mask, and now she's reading the room.
That's right.
Look at that.
Omega level bitch.
Omega level bitch right here. And that's a bitch with a capital V.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't that all that stuff like really just profoundly just confused me, because I don't know why these seem like, why would they be this melodramatic over monsters? Why would Jean and Rachel give Wanda all this trauma back at her? I don't get it. And then
it's just, again, this is, why I said this was so out of character, because in my opinion, Jean wouldn't have done this. Rachel wouldn't have done this. If they were going to pull memories, they would have at least shown Wanda, the good parts of her life, and not just flood her with all the bad shit that had happened. Dealing with her
children.
The memory, because she didn't even know who they were. I mean, even Rachel says that she doesn't even know her sons. So why not show Wanda with them? Why not show her embracing, them during the Children's Crusade and acknowledging that those are her sons, instead of flashing her or flooding her with memories of House of M, decimation, her Darker Than Scarlet storyline, Chthon, whatever. It was, like I said, it was very out of character, so.
But this takes me to probably my favorite thing in this issue, and it's twofold. We were talking about the art a little bit earlier, and if you look very closely, and I'm so sorry that they relegated him to the background, but there's one panel where Wanda is just showing up. I think they're having that like wife question right there. If you look at Magneto's face in the background, he's like overcome. Like that is just, he's just there, and everybody just kind of has a blank face, and a lot of it gets kind of lost with the ink, and he's just like,
oh yeah,
because at this point, like his name is literally in the title. So I expected him to be either the focal character or the character of perspective. But he's just always like reacting to other people throwing things at him, often their fists. But it's just like we don't have a moment of him even processing the fact that his daughter's dead. There's no like, okay, assholes, give me a minute. Let me grieve. Let me punch a wall. Let me scream. I don't know, anything. Not even in the privacy of his own mind. He's being like prodded by telepaths. It's like, can I just have a second? Sorry, everybody. Like, we just don't see that. And I want to have more of that. And that kind of, that connection between the two that is so fraught and so difficult, which brings me to my like absolute favorite bit, was when she turns to him and asks Daddy what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
oh, Wanda.
Oh, Wanda.
Like,
No,
it's,
yeah, you
I
made a great
literally
point.
have that up right now. I was gonna mention that.
No, you made a great point there, Petra. I mean, I was hoping to have Magneto have that Sally Field moment at the end of Steel Magnolias, you know, where he's just like, why, you know,
Stella! No.
exactly, you know, Wanda was right.
Well,
This does look like a brown football helmet.
but wait, if she doesn't remember her own kids, which she got those, I mean, she found out Magneto was her father later on. I'm trying to place them. I know by Vision Scarlet Witch Volume 2, when the twins were conceived, she had already known him as her father, because at the end of Volume 1, her parentage came up to question again. So why is she calling him Daddy? I mean, it's these inconsistencies that I'm not. And Leah Williams is traditionally very good with character history. That's why I'm kind of thrown off here.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder, though, really, and I know there's been issues
Are
with
you
writers
wandering?
in the past. Wandering very hard.
Yeah.
That it makes me wonder, though, wondering that how much did she really have to, like, how much room did she have with the story? Because there have been times with writers have come out and said, look, Marvel kind of maybe stuck their hands in a little too much and told me what I can and can't do with the book. So I don't know. I'm to kind of give her the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe they just kind of, I don't know. I kind of thought about that, especially with the last issue. You know, how much does she really have to? How much room does she have to play with, or go?
Yeah, this feels like there was a lot of editorial intervention. But
Right.
in that case, I would say why the thing about Trial of Magneto, and I think this is what I was thinking going in, this was going to be a story that was going to be on the same scale as like Children's Crusade, as House of M, as, AVX, like
Yeah.
have that big weight behind it for Wanda, because you're dealing right now with your most popular property. Well, I mean, Wanda is
Yeah.
a really hot topic right now. And this story just seems very small, convoluted, and very flat.
It definitely doesn't seem like it should be its own entity. It's its own storyline. Like it could have just been interwoven. Within books. Currently going on. So, I agree. It doesn't seem like it's really going really anywhere. I mean, you're getting more confusion and more questions than really any answers, especially with how it ended. So,
Do we want to talk about how it ended?
Well, do you want to talk about the aliens first?
Yes, let's talk about the aliens as well.
Because,
Yes.
nothing matters. Never mind aliens.
it's the kaiju.
That's a word now. Everyone, I wonder if there's a movie theater on Krakoa, like the one movie that everyone's watched. Like Captain America has seen Pacific Rim because he's not questioning why they're calling them that. Like,
right.
that is a term now. Is that in the dictionary now? I don't know, but it's just like giant monsters. No, they're kaiju. Ah, sure, cool, whatever.
And they're self-healing.
Oh no, they're self-healing. That's it. Game over.
We're doomed.
We're doomed. That's it. It's over. Fuck you, Wasp. God. But so the kaiju, I took it as they were Wanda's creation because of the beat and the art, obviously. And when she got really nervous and like they came like out. So
Yeah, she
Yeah,
gets like these pulses, and then
yeah.
she's like, "Stop it, stop it, stop it!" And then it gets bigger and bigger, and it's like, "Oh no, this is chaos magic because they don't have thoughts, so they just want to destroy stuff." And when we get to the end, you kind of see it reflected in that weird thing where it's like, "Oh, so that's what this is." Like, she actually says something like, "This is of me," or something like
right.
Yeah.
something to the point where it could be construed as like I'm somehow influencing this.
Right, because wasn't it said that I think Dayspring, you said that Wanda was going to bring chaos to Krakoa.
Yeah, I
So
think it was
here
in
it
one of those
is.
solicitations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she has. I mean, in more ways than one, she has brought chaos to Krakoa.
Mhm.
And I did kind of like the scenes with the twins and Wanda. I don't think we get enough scenes with the twins and Wanda. I know in Young Avengers Volume 2, the Kiri and Gillian, we had them interact, but apart from that series and maybe like here and there, they haven't had many. So I was happy that
Mhm.
they were reunited. They were worried about her
Mhm.
well-being. Billy was able to notice that something was off, and then I guess they're going to go off and show her something, but we don't know what that is. This I
Well,
was going to say this episode.
my question is, where the hell is Pietro?
I
Yeah.
know.
Where's
There's a
he
lot
at?
of there's a lot of people who were in the same place as the people that we see in this issue that are now gone. Like
Mm-hmm.
Emma, whatever. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah.
I don't mind getting all the little like weird ones or the little like lesser known ones. I mean, fine, iBoy gets to have this moment or whatever. Like,
Bossing
I'm okay
around
with them
Jean.
having their little moment, but your like emergency response is terrible to non-existent. Like, why is everybody just like, oh, I guess we got to evacuate? Yeah, like,
Right.
is there nothing in place? Like, you have all these telepaths, like, guys, where's Charles? Where's the entire council? Where's
Exactly.
Where's
Sinister? Where are all these
Exodus?
super hard hitting power players? They're nowhere to be found. They were literally all like by the pool at the same time.
And
2 minutes ago.
most importantly, when did Lorna have time to change her costume?
Oh yes.
That's a family trait, though. If you notice in the last, I keep saying episode. That's just what my brain wants to
No,
do
I
with
keep
this. I
saying
know they're
episode
called
as
issues.
well.
So last time Magneto was on the like surgery table or whatever in his black suit, and then by
Mhm.
the time Hope wakes him up and is like, "You got to get to Wanda's body," and he's like, "Okay, fine." And by the time he gets confronted again, he's switched into the right one,
Yeah.
Right.
like really quick.
I just
So it's a family thing. We have the
but it's
closet handy.
it's what you guys just said right now. It's like they had all these mutants there, Emma, and plus they also resuscitated a dead planet and during the Hellfire Gala. So we know that the mutants are capable of great things. Listen, I get it. I mean, you need a plot device, everything, you need to create stakes, but like at the same time, I'm not the one doing the world building here where you're saying the mutants can resurrect an entire planet, but they can't stop three monsters from attacking Krakoa.
Yeah.
Like at the very least, levitate them up into space. That problem.
Yeah,
Or-
How
exactly.
about getting
Liliana.
that really powerful person back in there that
Yeah.
you just relegated to the sidelines?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
know.
mean, yeah, it's I mean, you really hit it right there, Day Spring. I mean, especially you had while they were terraforming Mars. I mean, you had Jean literally have Jamie give birth to an entire station, and she telekinetically lifts it up into space. Why not her, Rachel, do the same thing with these monsters? Just kind of fling them out. I
Or
mean, they
Ileana just coming in and be like, I'm the new Sorcerer Supreme or Sorcerer Supreme, and just creates like a little teleporter plate. And
Limbo
that's it.
for
Fine.
you.
All right. Anything else? I'll be at the bar. You know what I mean?
right, exactly.
Also, like, and this is a pet peeve of mine. Anytime I see it, and the only time it was ever done to my satisfaction was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, when a giant spinning wheel thing comes at you. Step to the side. What is wrong with you people? Everybody's running ahead of it. Like, no. Newton's law is against you here. That is the one time the Winter Soldier just like casually sidestepped that flying car and was not bothered by it at all. And I'm like, thank you, sir. That is proper protocol for this situation.
Right.
Nobody's ever gotten this right, and neither have these people.
I mean, shrug. I just like why have these three monsters here? Why couldn't it be something else? I don't know. But
This is random.
it was so random. But like, I guess it's cool. The X-Men fighting giant monsters.
I think it would have been a lot better if instead of monsters, it would have been kind of like manifestations of, Wanda's past,
Oh
like
yeah.
past versions, of her somehow, the Chthon possession, the Darker than Scarlet, because remember years ago, Jordan Matt Fractions run when Emma goes into Cyclops' mind because he had the void, and then she was battling void versions of Jean. They could have been battling kind of like versions of Wanda, that were just manifested. I think it would have been a bit more of a, better fit for the story. But, I'm just a reader.
But again, why wouldn't someone just be like, okay, this Wanda is clearly someone resurrected Wanda against our wishes.
Right.
Put her aside. And again, why isn't anyone questioning where these monsters are coming from? But
somebody did, and that's the thing. And that was kind of the beautiful reader diversion where North Star's, who cares? Let's worry about that when they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
It was like everybody's questions, like, nope, we're gonna fight now.
We're gonna fight now. Well, and speaking of North Star, that scene with like Kyle's making dinner. Oh, we're gonna have to take a rain check. I was perplexed when they were like, "Oh, why is Kyle trying to make dinner during such a high touch moment?" I agree. That's like, boy, are you reading the room? Like, no.
These burgers aren't going to grill themselves. I mean,
I'm just so perplexed by it, and it's such an odd beat in the story where Captain America tells North Star, like, tell Kyle we're gonna have to have a rain check here, and like, is there supposed to be an implication here with Captain America having some sort of attraction to Kyle and North Star? Is it just that they want to normalize that Captain America is friends of the gays as well? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's such a weird plot. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? It just feels like a weird.
It just came out of nowhere. Yeah.
It feels like a weird beat. And what is I'm curious, what is the purpose of that beat?
Yeah, and the fact is they referenced it like twice or three times, because then there's Kyle in the back like, hey, but I thought it was kind of, I mean, God bless Captain America. I think he's just trying to be really proper and polite. Like, I've been invited to dinner. This is so cool. I want to uphold like proper manners. And it's like, hey, give my regrets. I mean, this means a lot to me. I got to go do this. Like, I see Steve Rogers being really, and I imagine Chris Evans in my head. Like, it's just like, he's just like, aw shucks guy. And the fact that he's so like effusive in his affection to people, I think it's overcome, which is, that's kind of what Joss Whedon tried to do in the Avengers, and it didn't work, where he's like, there's only one God and he ain't looking like this man. Like, I was like, that is not Steve Rogers. And I was just kind of like, maybe they're trying to make his personality not like deliberately inclusive, like what you maybe are getting at, but just like, he does not care. It's just like somebody he really likes invited him to dinner, and now, oh man, there's a monster I gotta fight. Oh, that's terrible. What got me was actually North Star's comment, because Captain America was like, really, was still talking about dinner? How can he still think about it? And then that sounded really discriminatory to me. I was like, look at those humans. They're funny, aren't they? Like, it was just like, oh, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that would, that's so weird to say that. It would be like my husband being like, oh, don't mind my husband. He's Cuban. Like, I would be like, excuse me? You know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird thing to say. I agree.
Yeah. I'll see you in divorce court, bitch.
Yeah, you are definitely not sleeping in the bedroom tonight unless you bring in Steve Rogers.
Hey, I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to get everything.
Don't get mad. Get everything.
That's see where you're getting your next dinner from, sir. Not me.
Okay, well, so I think we've thoroughly covered the issue, with the exception of the ending.
Issue with the issue.
The issue with the issue. But so now the ending. Spin the wheel. What I don't know. I don't know.
The wheel is spinning in my head. I don't.
Yeah, it's just one of those, kind of the spokes of the wheel keep going, and it could really just go anywhere right about now. I guess where I was kind of getting from, because, clearly it's saying that Wanda came back, but not Oliver came back. there's parts of her that I guess this part of Wanda that's missing is still in this ethereal plane of chaos, magic, and whatnot that's still evading this, at the time, this mysterious white cloaked figure that, happens to be old Lady Wanda.
Which is the rudest thing in the world.
I thought it was
Why are you calling it that?
Oh my
Lady
God.
Wanda.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow. She can still rock that suit.
She looks great in that suit. Like,
Whatever.
why not give her like an ultimate like name, like the Scarlet Sorceress or something like that?
Yes.
like, or like, Madam Wanda.
Fine, yeah, but like
Madam Witch.
and like again,
Maybe.
it's supposed to be like old man Logan. That's what they're playing off of, but it doesn't work.
I mean,
I don't know.
Old woman Wanda sounds better than old lady Wanda. I mean, that just sounds like,
It
ma'am,
sounds
do you
like a
need
ginger
help
with,
to
like,
go
a
across the
weird-
street?
Hansel
You help
and
go
Gretel witch right
downstairs?
there. It's my personal thing. Like when I had that in my head, I was like, how can I like my thing would have been like the Scarlet Sage.
Yeah.
That would
Oh, I
have
love
been-
that. I love
Thank
Yeah.
that.
you.
Like
Yeah.
her ultimate form.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's why I love when she was like, oh, so you finally figured it out. And I was like, well, yeah, no, you and no one else, because I'm
Mhm.
lost.
I don't
Glad
even know what
someone
she-
did.
I don't even know what she hit with the axe. Like I don't even know what she
Yeah, she just kind of swung it, and it's just like, okay,
Like a
girl,
little-
where do you?
something
What
went
you
like
try to hit? It was just-
I just love that she went for the giant battle axe. Like that's not in
Mhm.
character, but I can dig it. Like a full Viking scroll work on it. And she's like, yeah, all right, you're really pissed then. Fine.
Test your might.
Test your might. So yeah, so I guess I didn't take this, but a lot of people have said this on the interwebs that I guess old lady Wanda killed young Wanda. Or present tense Wanda, because we do have a young Wanda on Krakoa.
Mhm.
So whichever Wanda Prime got murdered by old
And
lady Wanda.
Like Wanda in the middle split off to super young and
Yeah.
super old, kind
Yeah.
of like cloven into.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, so I shrug. Why would she do that? I don't know.
Mm,
I guess it's kind of like
Understand. I don't understand.
what is it that how I took it too? It's almost as if they're kind of going the way of the mythology where you have like the three. What are they? The ones that spin the threads of life.
Oh,
Like you've
fate.
got
Oh,
the
the
child,
Norns,
the three,
or the
yeah, the three
fates.
fates, the three fates.
which like the Norns of the Norse version, because she now has a Norse axe.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
whatever, same thing. But yeah,
Right.
the three, yeah.
You've got the child, then you've got the younger, then you've got the old crone. So it seems like maybe kind of that's possible direction there, but that's kind of what I took after reading the end, that they're going possibly that way. But I mean, who knows? Spin the wheel, see where you land.
Maybe that's because they eliminated the middle one, like the center point. Like I'm imagining them at like a spectrum, or if you will, like the circle, and like the two ends basically in the middle, like the present Wanda is kind of the fixed point, like the linchpin that keeps that whole dial in place. It reminds me, if you've watched Foundation, if you haven't, you should. But there is a system in place where basically like the ruler of the known universe is a series of clones. There's always like an old one, a like middle-aged one that's played by Lee Pace, very attractively and very intimidating,
Mhm.
and then a young one. Like they're all the same, like the clone of the first emperor, but when the old one gets too old, they clone another one, and then the old one gets like incinerated, and then like they just shuffle. And so they call him Brother Dusk, Brother Day, and Brother Dawn. And then when they're about to die, they call him Brother Darkness. And like that's kind of what that reminded me of. And that's such a weird like it's system to do it in. And that's based on an Isaac Asimov story. So I was just like, maybe somebody read that, or that whole, what you said with the fates.
Which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Everything you
but,
just
like,
said. I love it.
But say it. Like,
But say,
like,
frame it.
Right. Yeah.
you figured it out. Like, what is it? Tell me.
why is it, I guess Doctor Strange is dead, but why isn't like magic or some other, magic based character here to be an authoritative figure just to spew out some ideology, some kind of thing, and that's it, frame it for the readers. Like I
Yes. Don't be afraid to, kind of put it out there. I mean, you don't have to like put it out there, and just give everything, but just kind of throw pieces of the puzzle, and then at least give us some kind of understanding, and not just kind of leave it high and dry. And then we have to wait another month or so just to kind of.
Well, here's the thing.
See you later.
This is what is worrying me. It doesn't look so. We know Inferno happens after Trial of Magneto. So we know there aren't major consequences happening to Krakoa or the Council or Magneto. Here's the thing that I hope that it isn't a misfire. I want someone actually to come out being Wanda's murderer, because everyone in the Stan community is having so much fun guessing who it was. I don't think there's anything in the story to suggest a character, to be very clear. But you have Alicia over at Ex-Wife who gave like this wonderful like breakdown, like, oh, well, Wanda died at, what was it, like 2 a.m. And then she comes through the portal at 4 a.m. and she doesn't have the flower to go through the portal. So maybe it's a mutant impersonating Wanda to trick Magneto. Beautiful theories. I just don't think any of it. I think it's an editorial mistake. And I think what we're seeing here is just another story that's just going to have no ties to what was previously established. And I think people are going to be, it's like Game of Thrones. You just want someone on the throne. That's it. That's how you end it. You've been playing this game for how many years? Just put someone on the throne. Someone murdered Wanda. Who murdered Wanda? Just do it.
Right.
I think actually.
No, I'm sorry. No, yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, it could very well just be an editorial mistake. They were going in one direction, and then and they kind of decided to go another way. Then they realized their mistakes, and that they're just trying to, yeah, exactly. Just backpedal it back, and it's just kind of starting to become a bit of a convoluted mess where they don't even know what's going on, and they're just trying to figure out a way to just end this, and hopefully everyone forgets. Hey, she's a mutant again.
Yeah. I think it was just, they had so much opportunity, and I still like wistfully think back to our first episode where we were all so excited. Where's this going?
Yeah.
And we had all of these theories, and I think actually, and I'm going to get back to that, and I think actually some of them actually are shaking out. I kind of reviewed what we were talking about, like, so is she dead? How did she die? Blah, blah, blah. So I think we were actually spot on about some of the things that are now happening, but I'm just gonna have to learn to accept it for what it is and just not expect what I was hoping for. And now we're just back to fighting monsters. It's too for a trial, and it could have had this like huge like sociological impact. Like it's always been, the X-Men have always been like this microcosm of like social inequality, and like if you're different but you still think you're cool and you don't get why nobody likes you, like those are the people that you identify with. Like that's what I grew up with thinking, and that's what a lot of people grew up thinking, like, oh yeah, no, I can be different but I can be cool. But all these things, like it could feed so much into that vein that just touches people and that keeps people in the readership of all these X-Men titles, even if you do not care for whatever the main character is. But instead, now we're just fighting giant monsters that we don't know where they came from. We don't know why they're there. And we just like, oh yeah, well, they're still fighting. It's cool. But we're now to some really like action laden fair that I don't know how they're going to resolve it in 2 issues. Like what kind of left turns do we need to brace for next?
It's like the story, to piggyback off of what you're saying, because I agree. I think the X-Men works so well on that deep metaphor, and so does Wanda with grief and trauma. So this is something
and
everyone
psychological issues.
Yeah, everyone wants to read this. And it feels like the book is purposely giving itself unnecessary plot and muddling it, like you were saying, Askani'son, like getting muddled in itself. Like, again, I am still not over last issue where they're like, let's give a tour of the island. Oh no, the Avengers can't see Resurrection. We have to have this huge big ruse. I'm like,
Look at me.
it's a fucking island. Don't take them to that part of the island. Don't schedule any resurrections
Yeah.
for
It's,
that
yeah, it's like
hour.
yeah, it was like I said last episode. I mean, why are they doing this on the island when they could have just gone to the X-Men's base in New York and had this
Yeah.
conversation? So where I was kind of thinking, what I was just kind of thinking right now as you guys were talking was, I feel like they've kind of done a little too much too soon, especially with the revelation of Wanda being alive. I think they could have saved that moment for this issue. Now I'm going to date myself here a little bit now, because I remember as a kid, me and my mom, we would watch this show, Dark Shadows, but it was the revival Dark Shadows that back in 1991. I clearly was not alive during the original, but they came out with a revival in 91, and me and my mom, we would watch it all the time. And there was an episode, and it was one of those where it was just, and it only lasted one season, but and the show suffered from doing too much too soon. But there was an episode where the main character, Victoria Winters, ends up going back in time, and she meets her doppelganger, Josette Dupree, I think it was her name. And because they're trying to figure out, the whole backstory of Barnabas Collins. So in the past, there is this witch, Angelique, who is infatuated with him, and she's not a good person whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so she ends up dying, curses him, and they bury her body. But there is a scene, it's like a few episodes before the finale, and they're putting Victoria on trial because she's being accused of a witch. This could be Magneto, right now, putting him on trial for accusing him of murdering Wanda. Then during the court scene, all of a sudden, here comes Angelique, alive and well, and everybody's aghast. How is she here? How is she alive? Because she was dead. This could have been Wanda at this very issue coming in, and everyone just looking like, what the fuck? How are you here? You were just dead. So, I mean, I feel like sometimes I get, and this is why I miss comics of the 80s and the 90s, where it's not always, it does not have to be so action-packed all the time. You can tell a good story and tell it dramatically and still have the reader intrigued and enthralled by it. You can have these deep dialogues, these discussions, thought bubbles. I miss seeing those of characters thinking, and the drama, I just feel like gets kind of shoved aside for unnecessary action, like with these monsters. You could have done anything else, but I felt like it just really muddled the story even more. It's like, okay, I'm sure they're going to get explained, but I just didn't feel like it was necessary. There could have been more of eerie, dramatic, ness to the. I just felt like the revelation of Wanda being alive in the second issue probably should have happened this issue.
Yeah,
you got two more after this.
What I wanted, I wanted something where it was like that whole well, guess we're screwed. Wasp just sounds like somebody who's like, well, this isn't gonna work, and just goes home. Like, I'm gonna clock out for this.
Size it down, flies off.
Not my circus, not my monkeys. Well, you guys are done. I'm going home. But I was thinking about what could be a catastrophe that would warrant this feeling of inevitable defeat. I would have wanted, because in the first issue, Wanda's body kind of sinks into the vines,
yeah,
and it's disappeared. I kind of would have loved, and let's write some fan fiction here real quick. I would have wanted her to come out of wherever she sank into, and from that fissure, Krakoa just disintegrating.
Yeah.
Bit by bit. This is something you cannot fight. What can you do? The land is literally splitting apart. You can't, there's no metal you can manipulate. You can't throw a shield at it. You can't blast it with your hand cannon. You can't do anything about that. This is as something as simple as not even just an earthquake, but an island-sized sinkhole that is just chaos magic propelled. Because clearly, the absence of Wanda Prime, shall we call her, and has caused a rift that maybe not brought about these monsters. And I was just the inevitability of a natural catastrophe is so much more potent as a storytelling device for these superpowered individuals. It's not always kryptonite, it's just
Right.
like, how do we have these like OP characters? How do we give them weaknesses without making them look silly? Which I think this is a trap we're falling into here. Captain America, like, boink, shield. Like, oh, but that didn't do anything. Never mind. So I was just like, give them something that is unfightable. This whole thing that they've built is crumbling under their feet, and you just got to get away from it. Like, that's all you can do. And I that's something that I wanted, instead of just weird, colorful monsters.
Yeah, maybe like a creation, a black hole of chaos magic, or as you described, what if Wanda was absorbed into Krakoa, and somehow, because she's not considered a mutant, somehow that influences Krakoa, and Krakoa begins to attack the mutants, in itself, and how they're gonna stop that when Krakoa is literally the entire island. How are you gonna fight an entire island? Just give some kind of peril, where, then you can have Wasp looking like that. And kind of get back here, didn't Wasp and Magneto kind of have a bit of a love affair during Secret Wars?
Oh,
Ew.
yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
disgusting. Ugh.
Just like Maddie
Eric,
and Nate.
really?
Oh no, Maddie and Nate, stop it. Shut up. Maddie and Nate are a perfect couple.
I knew you were. I knew that was going to get you.
That is a mount I will die on. I will die on that Madeline Nate Gray.
And look, real quick, I just want to say, I stand Madeline as the new Queen of Limbo. So
Yes, same.
I'm all right with it.
I'm all right with it. All right, guys. So let's hope next issue number 4, will be a bit better.
Well, I think we were actually, I got to pat us on the back real quick, because at the end of the first episode, we were saying, like, is the Scarlet Witch dead? And we pretty much unanimously were like, nah. And you said something, Dayspring, about like, they're going to come up with an older backup, which is exactly what is happening now. So points for you. And I was like, yay. And I was thinking, and Askani, I think you were too, where it was like, did Magneto kill her? And I think it was me saying something like, oh yeah, if he did, then it was some kind of like, it's more of like an assisted suicide situation where it was like prearranged or whatever. Like he might be complicit in the sense, maybe with the backup, or like, because they said this is where Magneto's backup went. So I guess that's where that went.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Rachel or Jean in their little telepathic communication is like, well, that explains where Magneto's Cerebro backup went. I'm like, eh? Did he like submit it with his name on it? I don't know. But it was something where it was like, if he had something to do with it, it was with her express permission, because there's really nothing you can do to the Scarlet Witch that she doesn't want done. So it was just something where I think I just want to end it on a happy note, saying that, like, we were right about a lot of stuff. Yeah, go us. But yeah, I agree with you. I hope they come up with something to resolve this. And I don't want it to end in just a giant monster fight.
Right.
No, we need a little bit more. But all right. Next issue number 4, when it releases, we will be back, and we will be relaunched as Power of X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, I know. So more on that later. But anyways, Askani'son, where can the fine folks at home find you?
I'm telepathically connecting all of you right now to my Instagram page at mdbrower81 and to Twitter at mikebrower81.
Woohoo! Hall of Femme, where can the fine folks at home find you?
I got this for your telepath transmission. I already follow you. You don't need this. I am at Hall of Femme, mostly on Instagram, but sometimes on Facebook. And if you find yourself in the Oklahoma City area, tomorrow night is the actual literal Hellfire Gala. So if you have a costume that you've always wanted to wear and show off, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be fancy. It's going to be lit.
Yes. Can't wait. Please tag in those photos.
Yes.
We can amplify.
I will spam like you wouldn't believe.
does. All right, guys, please rate and review this podcast. And you can hit us up on Instagram at Power of X-Men. We do have a shirt with Askani'son. That's Doug Ramsey, not me with bleach hair. That is available for a limited time. So please go to Askani'son's Instagram page, click on the link, and check out that wonderful bounty. And folks, as always, I'm the Uncanny Days Brady signing off.
Bye.
Bye.